Hello and welcome to another edition of Paratalk, the Paratalk live stream, to be exact. Thank you all for joining us. Today we have a great show lined up where we're going to be discussing the strange phenomena of haunted paintings. Of course, I'm Gareth Davis in Los Angeles, California, and once again I'm joined by paranormal enthusiast, Mr. Reeves Cook. Hello, Reeves.
Hello, Gareth. How are you?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, it's back again for another live event.
Yeah, we should. I'll put us on so we can both see each other. We're back with another live stream, another Paratalk live stream where we're going to get all spooky and creepy. It's hard for things to be spooky and creepy over here in LA because it's morning time over here. I tried to make the room as as dark as I possibly could, but unfortunately I didn't exactly succeed. But I did. I closed all the windows and all the doors and all that stuff to try and make it as spooky as possible. But I haven't exactly succeeded. But then again, is it dark in the UK yet, or is it still light?
It's kind of dusky. It's not
Okay.
dark. It's not light. But I reckon we've got another sort of hour, maybe two of kind of daylightishness.
Okay.
Still,
because I know that as we get into summer, daylight is gonna it's gonna be light until like what 8 or 9 at night, or sometimes I think in the UK sometimes till like 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember back in the day being a school kid. You go off with your mates and you play and you come back. And it's like still light at sort of 10:30 at night.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But that only for a short days. Huh? It's only for a short period of time that it's like that light at that late.
Yeah.
Well,
we're gonna barrel on through, and we're gonna keep doing regular Paratalk over at mindsetcentral.com. So if you're not a member or you haven't subscribed to, go over to mindsetcentral.com. and subscribe to the RSS feed for the Paratalk audio podcast. I think we're up to episode 147, Reeves. So there's a lot of back catalog for you guys to check out if you want to jump over there. Also, please consider subscribing to this channel, Mindset Central YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and also hit the like button. Hit that thumbs up. Go ahead and smash that, as the kids say. We'd really appreciate it, and thank you so much for coming by. So Reeves, shall we begin? Shall we get the first painting that we're going to discuss? These haunted paintings, which have been a long part of paranormal lore, so to speak, where somebody will purchase a painting and bring it home, and then strange things will begin to happen. So let's take a look at the first painting. What's the first one going to be called?
Well, so we've got our first painting is it's a portrait of Bernardo del Galvez, and
De Galvez, yeah.
Like a lot of ghost lore, as you just said, we've got people who are in paintings that apparently also are able to haunt the location that their paintings are hung in, and this is the case with this painting. You've got a hotel that opened in the 1900s, and they hung a portrait of the Spanish military officer Bernardo in their lobby, their area in their hotel, and it was in like the hallway, where you go in, and soon after this
is alleged... how do I get this right? This is the painting right here, right? This is the painting that we're talking. This is the one that was hung in the lobby, right there.
This is the one. Yeah, this is the one that was hung in the lobby area, the hallway. Right. Now, soon after it was hung, you had guests begin to complain that this is an interesting one, because I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've experienced this, where you'll go to a very old, maybe an old like a castle or a manor house that's still in use, and it's got all of the family portraits that are still hung up from all of the years gone by.
All the paintings,
yeah, and then you'll start to feel that their eyes are following you around the room.
Well, if
you're being followed.
Yeah, I mean, there's Disneyland in the Haunted Mansion. They have that where the paint, when you walk in, the paint, the eyes will will follow you as you walk. So I mean,
Well,
but
yeah.
we think about that for a second. It's a ride, or it's fun. It's
Hmm.
a spooky ride. But the paintings where the eyes follow you. I mean, they didn't make that up just for the ride. They got that from somewhere,
Yeah.
right? So they're basing, and this happens a lot in the paranormal world, where they for a movie or a book or a TV show, they'll use paranormal phenomena, and people will get it confused, and they'll think that if there was a movie that came out where eyes followed someone down a hallway on a painting, people would watch that, and then if they met someone and said, "Yeah, I was in a haunted house, and I could swear the eyes were following me," they'd immediately think,
Mm.
"You saw that film, you saw the movie,
Yeah.
and the movie
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
but in reality, the reverse is true, right?"
Yeah.
You know?
Well, not only did guests start to report that when they were in the vicinity of the painting, that they felt that they were being watched in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and that the eyes were following them. That they would also report, others would report that they would feel in and around the vicinity, suddenly feel extremely cold,
Right.
and also they would have the feeling of being uneasy, and they were in the vicinity of the portrait. So a uneasiness of feeling cold, and also the feeling of being watched.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got all these kind of psychological triggers going off around an alleged haunted painting, or a painting that is giving out some bad vibes,
Right.
allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that when we look at paintings and we look at the backstory or the lore, or whatever, it's a kind of there's its psychological play going on here, like we just talked about with with Disney and going into the fun fair, and they
Right.
take their
Right.
ideas from
Mm-hmm.
what happens in the real world. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting one to start with, because
Yeah.
it follows.
Can I don't know if you have. Do you have the background of this painting and
Not really,
why it
no,
is
not
considered
on this
haunted?
one. Not on this one, but I'm sure that if we dug into the background of this, there would be something that would cause, a trigger, shall we say, that would maybe cause these accounts to be popping up like they are
Uh-huh.
and have been documented.
Okay. Well, there you go. That was the portrait of Bernardo de Galvez.
Mm.
Very interesting. All right, let's go on to our next painting. This is a I don't know, man. This one looks kind of
Weird.
kind of creepy from the get go.
Yeah.
And this one is the dead mother.
Mm.
So
Well, this is interesting.
let me pull that one up so everyone can take
Yeah.
a look. So here we go. Now this is kind of, even just looking at it, I'm like, why would someone even put that up in their house? it's kind of messed up.
Mm. Well, the thing is that this painting, I've got a bit of background on this painting, and the
Okay.
painting itself came into being because it was inspired basically from the artist's death of their own mother.
Mm-hmm.
On account, the mother died of tuberculosis when the artist was a young child of 5 years old. And aside from the fact that the painting is said to make people feel eerily uncomfortable, it's also said that the eyes of the little girl follow you around the room, and also that you can hear that the mother's sheets rustle.
Rustle.
So we have this kind of audio, some sort of projection of sound when it
Yeah.
comes to this as well. The painting itself, other people have reported similar than what we just spoke about, coldness, and also this a sense of needing to shout or scream after they've looked at the painting. Now, I think that, I don't know, with this kind of image, it's very it's quite a brutal image, and it's, as someone who's done photography and still occasionally does it,
Yeah.
when you look at stuff like this and you look at it from an artist's perspective, you can see that the person who's done this has obviously done it to try to making a statement. But
Yeah.
then again, I think that maybe there's a little bit more of the person themselves in this image, of course, because it's them depicting them on the death of their mother, rather than just something that they, pulled out of the air. So
It is,
yeah,
from my perspective.
it's
I'm just staring at it right now. I'm looking
yeah,
I'm looking at it and trying to take it all in. And I would advise people watching the stream right now to kind of really maybe make the image full screen on your monitor or your TV or however you're watching the stream, and really look at this painting. And this, at first glance, it just looks like, just a little painting with a little girl, or was it a little girl? I think it's a girl putting her her hands on her ears, and someone sleeping in the background. But when you put it into context, that this is the little girl's dead mother, and it's very disturbing. This is a very
so
very
much more.
disturbing painting, for sure.
There's so much more to these kind of imagery, and I think that when we have this kind of stuff, it's only natural that when you're an individual and you're looking at stuff like this and you learn the backstory, that there is a kind of I'm not going to say that you're imagining it, but there is something else going on there, and possibly the essence of a person is within the image. I don't know. Maybe with some of the accounts a little later of other paintings that we're going to look at, certainly make us think that there's possibly something very strange going on.
Well, we won't get ahead of ourselves, because we're going to get there, folks. Hang in there. There's I'm going to just give you a little warning. If you think this painting is disturbing, get ready. we got some severely messed up paintings to talk about in a little bit. But Reeves, with this painting, can you go over again some of the strange phenomena that accompanied it when it was hung up?
Yeah, when that painting went up, it was basically anyone that viewed it would feel a feeling of dread. They would feel unease. They would also feel like shivers, coldness, and also a feeling to express themselves in a way of maybe screaming or shouting. And this was numbers of people that reported these feelings, not just one or two. It's numbers of people that had seen it.
Yeah.
So yeah, very strange. Very strange for a painting to make you want to scream, really, or shout.
I mean, I don't know whether this is like like a collectible painting, whether it's expensive, or the artist is of some repute or whatever. So if it is, then I can see this hanging in like a museum or an art collection or something. But I honestly I can't see somebody putting this up in their house. Do you? I mean, I would not hang this up.
Well,
it's
the thing is, it depends. I mean, art is subjective, and everyone that looks at art sees something different in it. For a picture that I look at and think, no, I wouldn't put that on my wall, there's definitely someone out there that would look at it and go, I want that on my wall. So some people want a backstory. True. They want a history to a painting.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's true. I mean, each to their own, right? Everyone has their own tastes and so to speak. So let's delve into the next painting. Do you have a preference, Reeves? Which one would you like me to put up next?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw. I think it was. Let me have a look. Let me just quickly look back on the chat. I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, Exploring with Carl. He
Carl.
mentioned this one. So we're gonna
go there.
We're gonna jump into the crying boy. We got to touch on this one because it's really interesting. Whether it's true or not, but we're gonna jump in because got a nice bit of backstory on this that could possibly have something to do with it, but who knows? So
this one, the crying boy. I'm familiar with this. In fact, growing up, I seem to remember seeing this on the wall or in a hallway of many people's houses in the late 70s, early 80s. So this is a fairly famous painting. So let's not keep everyone waiting. Here it is.
Okay,
There it
so
is, the crying boy.
to give a bit of background on the artist and how this came about. Okay,
Uh-huh.
the artist himself, he did over 60 such works like this. There were many. There were many crying boys. There were lots of different children, all crying, and also young girls as well.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't just boys, and he did all different styles. And there were this is really big in the 1980s. There would have
Yeah.
been sort of all over the UK.
Right.
Everyone literally,
Because
everyone in their ground.
it was a fairly cheap print that you could purchase,
Yeah, it was a
right?
print,
It was
yeah.
a print
Yeah, yeah.
with a frame,
Well,
and people would
well,
buy it,
yeah.
put it in their living room or their parlor
Yeah.
or in the hallway. But I have a question, Reeves. So even though these prints were inundated the UK in the late 70s, 80s,
Yep.
what about the original artwork? Where
Well,
where did that go, or is it still around?
Yeah,
or
good
like the
point.
original painting?
It was based on basically it was the way it worked is the artist created an artwork, okay, and then from that artwork were reproductions, reprints, and those reprints were what was, I mean, they sold over 50,000 copies in the UK alone. So those prints were remade onto a form of like a board. They were board backed, so it was more like a piece of wood with a print on it, and then it was lacquered, so it would look like a painting that you would hang on the wall. So it was meant to try and look like an oil painting, to give it that kind of air of. So it wasn't the original. Now, where the original is, I don't know. Mostly in someone's collection somewhere. Even in still in the circles of the artist, I don't know. But the thing is that because so many of these were sold, okay, all of a sudden we had this rash of reports of fires. Now, I'm going to tell the story as it is, and then I'm going to come back and question the story because there are many questions to ask regarding this whole scenario of what happened.
So let me put the painting up again while you tell the story, so everyone can stare into the eyes of the crying boy while Reeves tells the background.
Yeah. So as I say, people would buy it, they would hang it on their wall. People also started to report that they were blaming this picture for fires that would happen in their homes, and even in some cases. The family members would be injured, burnt, that even houses would burn to the ground, houses were badly damaged, but these paintings always seemed to strangely survive, even though they were in the area of the fire. They would be, even the fire brigade started to investigate to find out what was going on. There was one fireman that did in their area, which was in South Yorkshire. Now, if you remember, in about 1985, a national newspaper got involved, and they used the headline, "The Blazing Curse of the Crying Boy," and of course, it was the newspaper, The Sun.
The Sun, right?
It's told the story,
sensationalized.
Yeah, it told the story of a couple, Ron and May Hall, who were from Rotherham in England, South Yorkshire. And what had happened to them is they had this major fire in their home. After the fire brigade had investigated, it was deemed that it was a chip pan, which had boiled over and caught fire, and that their house was very badly damaged, and that they had this crying boy picture in their home, and they blamed it for the curse, of causing fires, because it was also undamaged. So one of the firefighters that headed up this investigation, he did some research into the local area, and he found that they'd attended 15 house fires in the local area, and all of those house fires had that painting hanging somewhere in the home, which hadn't been, damaged by fire. So
the house would be damaged, really burned and blackened and smoke, but this painting would be unscathed. It would be fine.
Unscathed, yeah. Seemed to be fine. Now, of course, the national papers got involved again, and because because it was on a national level now, because we have to think back. There was no internet.
Right.
There was no, there was none of that. The information you got was from the news, from the paper, and people would buy the daily paper. And when they see this stuff in the paper, they all start writing into the paper.
Right.
And of course, the paper was inundated with letters from people saying, "Oh, I've got a crying boy, and it's this happened or that happened or whatever." So it was. They said, "Look, okay." On Halloween, they said to everyone to send in their crying boy art that they'd bought, and they were going to have this is from a national paper. They were going to have this huge Halloween crying boy burning bonfire.
They're going to burn all the paintings.
All the paintings in a giant funeral pyre.
Did that happen? Because I don't recall that. Did it happen?
I don't know if it happened or not. I don't have any memory of that happening.
No, you'd think that would be big news.
Know. That would have been. There should be something like that happening for a national newspaper. Right. There should be pictures online. Yeah. Now, so I don't see any pictures. So I don't know if that ever happened, but that was what they were asking for. Now, obviously, we look at the painting and people say, "Oh, it's well, clearly it's cursed. It's a cursed painting, and everyone that hangs it on the wall, because it's the image that's cursed. Right. It doesn't matter if it's a reprint. It's still cursed. Put it on your wall, your house is going to burn down." Okay, so they look into the origins of the curse, and there are some different ones. Firstly, the original painting, which was apparently quite old, they had a hex on it, a curse put on it by a disgruntled gypsy family for some whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is, but it had a curse on it.
Right.
And others claim that the child that was featured in the main painting, this is one we're looking at, had died at some point after the painting from some sort of fire incident, and that his ghost, his essence, whatever, has in some way afflicted the picture, and that's why this crazy phenomenon happens. But there is another.
Okay, go ahead. I'll finish your thought. Go ahead.
There is one more, and then we can come back and discuss in a little bit more depth. So this is the most popular story. Don Bieo, right, is basically the name of the boy who was in the painting. Now, he was allegedly adopted by the artist. The artist that painted him, he adopted him as a member of the family.
Okay.
But unfortunately, wherever the child went with them, the fires would inexplicably start, or there would be some sort of craziness going on. So eventually, this led back to the artist's home, where he lived with the family and his adopted boy, which ended up with his home burning down. Now, of course, the artist and his family were so distraught by this, and he was so angry that he basically banished he got rid of the kid. He banished the child. He didn't want the child in the family anymore. He was the child was cursed. So they sent him on his way. He went to wherever you send children, a children's home or whatever. But
an orphanage or something?
Orphanage or something like that.
Yeah.
We don't know. Anyway, the story kind of stops there until allegedly many years later, okay, the police were called to a car crash in Barcelona where the driver unfortunately had been killed, and the car had hit a barrier or wall, and it had burst into flames, and the driver was trapped in the vehicle and was burnt to death, but he was burnt so badly that he couldn't be recognized or any prints or anything like that. But what they did find was an ID, part of an ID in the vehicle, and they were able to ID him that way. And they found out that this older gentleman, middle-aged man now, was Don Bieo, who was the child.
It was the kid from the painting.
In the paintings.
Wow.
And that possibly that was another, a connection to this whole cursed, hexed strangeness that's been going on. But I honestly think that there's a much more simpler explanation and down to earth, because
I'm getting that vibe from this too, that there's a bit of a
Okay,
You
so
know.
I always like to I like to be a little bit skeptical and a
Uh-huh.
little bit open-minded,
Yeah.
and I like to look at things and try and look at them for what they possibly could be, rather than just saying, "Oh, well, it's clearly just a ghost."
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it from this point of view. Back in the mid '80s, even the BBC, I think it was the BBC, got involved, and they did a documentary on this phenomenon, what this happened, and they looked upon it, and they took one of these paintings. They're on a very thick board, and it's put on, and it's sprayed with like a lacquer,
Uh-huh.
which gives it that kind of painting effect.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they tried to burn it. Okay, they set it up in a little furniture,
Mm-hmm.
and they made a little fire, and they couldn't burn it. It wouldn't burn. Okay,
So.
so they concluded that these paintings, because they were board backed and because they were a fire hazard, the person had kind of responsibly, when they mass produced these,
Yeah.
they had sprayed them in a flame retardant lacquer where
Yeah.
they wouldn't continually burn. They would scorch, or they would start to burn, but the flames would soon extinguish themselves. And they came to the conclusion that a lot of people that were having these house fires, and they happened to have these pictures in their house, is because the pictures were so they were everywhere back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
It was the chances of them having a picture in the house was greater than not having it. So
That makes sense.
there is
That
another
makes
side to it.
no. That
Yeah,
makes total sense. And the thing that got me is that the minute when you have like a tabloid newspaper, like the
yeah,
Sun, really pushing this and front page headlines and hyping up the whole thing,
mm,
it kind of leads me down the path that this is probably nonsense.
mm,
Probably not true. The only thing that adds a little wrinkle to this is the story you told about the boy and growing up and the car crash
yeah,
and the curse. But then again, that could all be just part of the
yeah.
story also. So
It could be.
so
Yeah,
while this photograph is disturbing and it is
is
it
yeah.
is very creepy, um, I don't think it's really haunted.
I think that I think that we have scenarios like this, and they can get easily once should we say, the media get involved. They look at it as a point where they can use it just to basically sell newspapers.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, I think that's more the case here. Although it's a great story, and
it is a great story.
and it is part of ghost paranormal lore. You've
Mm-hmm.
got the crying boy is a great story,
Yeah.
and if you dig a bit deeper and be a bit logical about all of what you're reading, it really does think about 50,000 paintings. It's quite a lot, and a lot of households are going to have them, and and people, chip pan fires were quite common back
Yeah.
then because everybody cooked with lard. There was none of this cooking oil or oven chips. That was a posh thing, and
I think
you put the
I
chips
might
in.
I think I might shoot over to eBay and see if I can buy one of these for my apartment and put it up on the wall right there.
Yeah, do.
And
Please do.
See what happens.
We'll
You
buy
you
one
never know.
each. We'll buy one each.
That could be our
See what
experiment to
happens.
see how it goes. We'll put up the crying boy and see if I'll put on I'll put up the crying boy. I'll make a pan of chips and we'll see what happens.
Put the chip pan on.
Yeah, put the
and
chip
see
pan
how long
on.
it for the kitchen. Yeah,
And
there you go.
we'll see how it goes. All right
Yeah,
then, Reeves.
definitely.
What's
Right.
what's the next creepy
Oh,
one
let's have a look.
you want me to put up so we can take a look at it? Let's see.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Rain Woman. Let's have a look at that one, shall we? That's a nice
Rain
little.
Woman.
yeah.
Dude, I just saw
Yeah.
it. Why what's wrong with you, Reeves? My God, I just saw this. This is very disturbing. Once again, it's like, why would anyone put this up in their home? Why would you do that? So yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Let's. So people in the stream watching this edition of Paratalk, you're watching. Well, I should tell you what you are watching. You're watching Paratalk live stream with myself, Gareth Davis, paranormal enthusiast Reeves Cook. We're talking about haunted paintings. We've done, I think, 3 so far, and we have a bunch more we're going to go through. And the way that we've lined this up is that I think each painting is going to get more and more disturbing.
Weird. Yeah.
Until we get to the point where I can't watch this anymore.
Yeah.
Especially if you're watching, and it's nighttime where you are, and it's dark, and you might have the lights down low. Some of these paintings are a little unnerving.
Yeah.
But if this is your first time watching the Paratalk live stream, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe. So hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, give us a cool comment, share the video, let people know we exist. And okay, brace yourself. This is the Rain Woman. Here it comes. And there she is. The Rain Woman. The Rain Woman. Tell us about the Rain Woman, Reeves.
This is a really... But actually, this is kind of interesting because this isn't someone who is looking at the picture being affected. This is actually the person that created the painting who feels that they were affected.
So everyone watching, you're safe. You're okay.
Well,
maybe not.
Maybe not. If you're, chip pan fires, nothing to do with us.
All right. Okay.
So the Rain Woman is the name of the artist. Revealed a strange feeling came over her while she was painting the portrait of this woman. Having completed the painting in a mere 5 hours, she painted this picture in 5 hours. The artist, Slavana Telets, revealed that she felt like her hands were being guided to create the artwork. And after completion, owners who brought this painting, they returned it. More than one owner would buy the painting, take it home for a little while, and then come back and say, pretty much the next day and say, look, I don't want this no more. You can have it back.
What was happening then? What was
okay? So there was various sort of symptoms that people were reporting. They would report thing of insomnia, where they would hang the painting and then their sleep patterns would all be messed up. They kept waking up for no reason. They couldn't get to sleep. They were feeling really tired. So all that kind of everything that goes with insomnia. Just a general fear of anxiety, that kind of constant fear of bit anxiousness, unexplained sadness, like a form of depression, like that comes on and you just feel really sad and down.
Yeah.
And also, which is similar to some of the other paintings we've just spoken about, feelings of being watched while in the vicinity of the painting. So
yeah, that's creepy. So was it? Did they get the feeling that the painting was watching them, or just generally like someone behind them, or somewhere in the room?
Being watched.
Okay.
Yeah, but generally being watched while in the vicinity of the painting. So that's that kind of it's like when you're doing something and you feel like someone's looking at you from behind, or that kind of scenario.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a whole host of different things there that you can connect with. Haunted places, people go into buildings that have had things happen to them, and not everyone. Of course, some individuals are what I would call less sensitive to an environment than others, and I think that I don't want to go into the realms of calling someone a medium or anything, because I think you're in different realms there when you talk about mediumship and clairvoyance. But I do think that everyone has the ability to go into a place and feel its atmosphere just through the senses that we already have, and maybe some of the senses that we have that aren't used on a daily basis, but are also used in some cases, can be triggered through environmental factors, where you go into an older building and there's certain triggers. For example, you can go into an old manor house and it smells like an old manor house because of the wood and stuff like that, and it can trigger certain aspects of your of you as a person, your senses, to pick up on different things. And I think with this we're having the same thing, where people are being triggered to feel certain things through the more visual trigger than anything else, where they're looking at the picture, looking at the painting. Because I have to say that when you look at the picture, it just looks looks otherworldly.
It really does, and I'm staring at it right now, and I'm looking at it, and let me move my. You should be able to see my mouse moving on the screen here. There you go. So this appears to be a hat, but not a hat. Right?
Kind of a hat, maybe hair.
Exactly. It could be hair, it could be a hat. But then it looks like there's some kind of, like it's raining or something coming out from under the brim of the hat right here. You see that? Looks like it's some kind of rain. She doesn't look happy. She looks pretty upset. But here's something that I noticed, which is a little weird, is that it looks like her head is like she's been decapitated or cut. There's like marks right here. It look like maybe her head is separating from her body. Do you see that?
It's very it's very creepy.
Right here.
It's definitely not one for my not for my room.
You're not going to put that up in the living room, or
no.
Well, forget the living room. Imagine putting that up in the bedroom.
But I'm waking up to that in the middle of the night.
You wake up and that's like as you open your eyes, it's right there on the wall. No, that's not. That doesn't seem to be a good thing.
No.
To do, but yeah, creepy painting there, Reeves. I'm almost a little nervous to say what's next.
Well,
but I'm going to. What's next?
I think we should turn it up a little bit, and we should have a look at the Anguished Man.
The Anguished Man. Oh Jesus! I wanted, dude. Where do you? This is messed up. My God. This is not okay. Watchers, listeners, people of the internets, I don't even know what to say. This next one is it makes all the others look like a walk in the park on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. I almost don't want to click on it, to be honest with you. I almost don't want to show everyone because it is very and I'm looking at it right now, Reeves, and I'm thinking, what goes through someone's mind to actually sit down and paint something like I'm about to show you? Like what is in the head of someone painting something like this? Because this is very, very disturbing. Okay.
I will. Okay.
I'm going to show it.
All right.
Brace yourself, people.
Okay.
Here comes the Anguished Man. Okay.
So, the Anguished Man, yes.
Yes.
Well, I can tell you that so the story goes that shortly after the artist had finished his work of art, he committed suicide.
I'm not surprised.
Are you not surprised by that? I'm not really surprised, but also allegedly that when he was creating the painting, that he also mixed in his own blood into the paint to give some of himself into the image. Mm-hmm. But there's a whole backstory here. So the painting came into the possession of a certain individual called Sean Robinson, and he tells the story through he had a number of YouTube videos, but it came into the possession of his grandmother to start with, and she basically kept the painting hidden away for a long time because she believed that it was evil, basically.
I wonder why she would think that, Reeves. I mean,
she clearly didn't want it on her wall.
Of course. Yeah.
So it was wrapped up and put away. But upon her death, the painting then went over to Sean, her son, her nephew, and it came into his possession. Now it was then that he started to document the strange incidents that were currently starting to go on in and around, his home. So he put it up on. It was down. Originally, he decided that it would go up on the wall downstairs in his house, and thinking, it's just going to put it up on the wall. It's a painting,
Yeah.
He had some children, and now he remembers stories that his grandmother would told him that when she first came into possession of the painting, that she did have it out for a little while, and that she decided to wrap it up and put it away because she started to experience strange phenomenon that she didn't understand what it was. She would hear unexplained noises in and around her home. She also told him that she would hear people talking in and around her home that she had no explanation for. But the most scary part of it was that she used to see a shadowy figure in and around her home that she would only see like from the corner of her eye, and then when she would investigate, there's nothing there.
Now,
Obviously,
these things that she experienced, this was only when she had the painting, right? Before she had the painting, none of this happened. It was only when she had the painting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it basically it was she decided that she was going to wrap it up and put it away because it's
right.
it's evil. Of course, all these years later, she passes away. The painting gets handed to him, and he decides to put it out and hang it up. He had some young children, and they started to say to him that started to ask who the man was in the house that would come and visit sometimes. And he's like, what are they on about? And they said, oh, he's like a a dark figure. And he didn't really apparently he didn't really believe them. He thought that they were children being children. Yeah. And until he apparently saw the figure. And then he started to get a little bit concerned. So he set up a YouTube channel, and he started to document. Basically film the painting. Just put a video camera in front of the painting,
filming this painting right here.
Yeah, and just film it.
Okay.
And see what would happen. Now, in some of the videos, you clearly can hear audio phenomenon, where clicks, pops, grunts. And apparently that this is meant to be in the middle of the night, where it's there's no one else around, or everyone's asleep.
Yeah.
He did move the painting to a different location up on the top floor of the home because the children, he felt that it didn't want to be downstairs anymore, and of course he put it into a room and he would film it. There's also some video that captures you could say it captures light phenomenon, but the problem is, you see, because this is the camera used was it's not like the cameras we use today.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to ascertain what actually is being interfering
was
with.
It like an old webcam or something that they used?
Something like that. Yeah, very low shutter speed.
Yeah,
Of course, in a room with not a lot of light, everything is very blurry and it's a bit difficult but he did actually have a group of people come and do an investigation and take the painting and try and connect with whatever was potentially I don't know what you would call haunting or or anything like that. But I think that I do think that it's very they had some success. The easel that it was on, apparently they've got on film that it's moving, but once again, if you're not there and you're not witnessing it firsthand, it's very it's all very ambiguous. It's very going into the realms of most haunted and programs like that.
Yeah, but it's strange that it's attached to the painting. I mean, the guy who painted this was obviously a little disturbed. And also to mix his own blood in with the paint to paint it, and then he committed suicide not long after painting it. This is, I mean, just looking at it, it's a very disturbing painting, and just like all the other paintings that we've talked about so far on today's show, this is not a painting that I would like to put up anywhere. I would not put this up in the house. It's. And don't get me wrong, I do like a disturbing painting. Yeah, but I would not put this up in the house at all.
Well, he had it. It was. I think he's basically put it away now, and it's stored away. And it's like a lot of this stuff. When you tend to put it away, things seem to stop. You know,
It's
I
like
think
it
with the
has to be on display for things to
yeah, it
happen.
has to be seen. It
Right.
has to be seen. It has to be viewed, and that kind of gives it, whether it's a human condition, it's psychological, a trigger, like we spoke about earlier,
Uh-huh.
where we're seeing something that doesn't kind of gel with what we, with us, we don't like it, and therefore we see evil in it, or anything like that,
Yeah.
or it's basically there's something, maybe maybe there is a ghost living in it. I don't know. Maybe
Maybe
maybe it's a portal to a portal to another,
another
the ghost realm.
dimension. Yeah, I
Who
mean, who
knows?
knows? I mean, we can play
Uh,
this the speculation game all we
yeah.
want. Bottom line, this is a very disturbing painting,
Yes.
and it was painted under very strange and disturbing circumstances.
Yes.
So we'll leave that one as there. I think we're rapidly approaching our final painting for today, Reeves, and
Yes.
I think we've kept the best to last. This last one is very disturbing. You want it before I pull it up. You want to give like a quick intro before the painting is revealed?
The painting itself is of the artist who, when he was a very young boy, he was adopted by his adopted family, and when he became older and he learned his art as an artist, he was working for a gallery. He created this works, and the work is based on a cross between fantasy, the paranormal, the otherworldly, and himself. So I think
Yeah.
that if
So
we
should I pull it up? Should I let
yeah,
everyone?
let's get it up and we'll
Let's
talk about it, because there is quite an interesting
so
backstory to
I
this.
remember this painting from the
Yeah,
early 2000s
this is
when
one of many.
it was
There
on.
are
But
different
I
ones.
remember this showing up on eBay in like
Yes, yes, it did.
99 or 2000, and
2000.
and it went for people were trying to buy it. And
Crazy
I
money.
remember looking
Yeah,
at it on eBay thinking, man, that's disturbing. So
yeah,
without further ado, let's reveal it to everyone. This painting is called "The Hands Resist Him,"
yeah. And it's
and
quite, in internet lore, this is one of the most, what I would call, well-known uh, spooky paintings
yeah,
in the internet world.
hmm
So I think that the backstory to this is really interesting, because it's all kind of well documented, and you can look back and for example, the young boy in the painting,
hmm
okay, is actually the artist when he was a young child. The doll that is with him is in his neighborhood friend that he used to play with. Okay, the original picture
uh-huh.
was taken by his adopted parents, and they only took the picture of him and his friend, the young girl,
So wait, so
outside.
they actually took like a photograph, and then
A black and white
and
picture.
then he
Yeah, yeah.
painted the photograph. Is that what I'm hearing? Or
No,
no?
no,
Okay,
no,
okay,
no. So
okay.
what he did, many years later, when he was an artist, he was working for a gallery. Okay, and he was under contract with this gallery to produce two original works of art a
hmm
month
Okay.
to furnish the gallery. So they had stuff from him on a regular basis. There was no real, they weren't saying what he had to paint. They had, he painted what he painted, and then it went to the gallery. He was looking for inspiration, and he came across this old picture of him with his friend from many years ago,
Okay.
black and white picture. And he thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to interpret this image, and I'm going to make something out of it. I'm going to create something.
hmm
So he decided to make this picture. And now he painted the picture of himself as a young boy, but his friend, he decided to use her as a metaphor. So he painted her as a doll. If you look, she is
Yeah.
a doll
Yeah.
in the picture. And also, if you look closely at the doorway, you can see small childlike hands
Right.
on the inside of the glass.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff has a meaning behind it. The himself, he is portraying himself. The young girl who was a doll is the fantasy side of his childlike mind. The doorway, that is the portal to the world of imagination,
hmm
and the hands, okay, are the hands that are stopping him from kind of going through there. Like, you can't come any further. They're like the gatekeepers. That's a very loose way of me explaining it, but it's the most simplest way.
Okay.
But we're going to go back a little bit of the history. So this painting was originally created in 1972. The chap's name's Bill. And as I say, it was based on a photograph. The photograph, as I say, was based on his parents took it when he was 5 years old. The young girl in the painting, who was also in the painting, is his a childhood friend. Now, as I said, the girl in the photograph represents the fantasy world. The door represents the doorway to the fantasy world, and the small hands pressed up against the glass. Well, also it could, other interpretations are other possibilities in life, other options, other avenues of interest, that kind of thing. I don't want to get too deep with it because you could go on forever with it.
Right.
Now, in 1974, two years after the painting was created, it was sold. Now, it was the person who purchased it is quite interesting. It was a John Marley. Now, if anyone out there that's a fan of the film The Godfather would know that John Marley, the actor, appeared in that film, and he also appeared in such shows as like a Hawaii Five-0, and he did lots of things. He was quite a well-known actor.
Well-known actor in the 70s.
Yeah. Now, he passed away in 1984. So there were three people between 1978 and 1984 that were kind of close to this painting. Now, each one of those people up to 1984 died. They passed away for whatever reason. That was the publicist, the gallery owner that was involved with it, and also the actor which owned it. But he had sold the painting shortly before his death.
Okay.
That went on. Of course, after this, of these deaths and stuff, the painting kind of disappeared. It was gone. Nobody knew where it went until February 2000, when the painting popped up, as you said earlier, on eBay for sale.
I remember
now,
that.
The backstory was that the people that owned it, the people that bought the painting from John Marley, they had the painting and they'd had it in their home, and it was causing them a lot of distress. It was upsetting their children. They were experiencing strange activity, just feeling uneasy, other strangeness, just basically strangeness in their home. So they decided to take it away and put it into storage, and then have nothing more to do with it.
Okay.
Now, the painting popped up on eBay. I think it was a listing, and it started around, I think, about $200 for the painting, and it was sold for just over $1,000.
Okay.
And it had over 30,000 views on that one listing.
Well, I remember it because I was at work, and everyone was emailing me like, check out this haunted painting. And I remember going to eBay and talking to people at work about it. Look how creepy that is. And I remember it really distinctly that this was a pretty big deal. The whole the haunted painting on eBay.
Yeah, well, it was sold. A person bought it, and they were shortly afterwards, they were asked what were you going to hang it. They weren't going to hang it anywhere. They put it straight into storage as soon as it was bought. And since its purchase, and since it's been in the storage, the owner has said he's looked at it maybe 5 or 6 times since he's owned it, and it goes straight back into storage. He doesn't have it, as far as we're aware now.
So it's still in storage now. It's in
storage. Yeah.
So the person who purchased it in 2000 from eBay is still the owner, and it's still in storage.
Apparently, yes.
Okay.
It's in storage, and he's only seen it maybe 5 or 6 times since he's owned it. So 20 odd years.
Okay.
And let's be honest. If you're buying something that's got that much internet history to it, you're buying it as potentially an investment
for
later years, to bring it out in later years.
Mm-hmm. So
So yeah,
let's talk about some of the spooky aspects of the painting. Some of this, because even looking at it, there's several things in the painting that's kind of leaping out at
well,
me just staring at it. That's
yeah,
a bit
yeah,
off.
okay.
Well, there's the obvious things of the doll, and
Mm.
what's the doll holding? The doll is holding
Like
something,
a canister with like a,
some
it's
wires
like
or
a,
something coming out of it.
yeah, like what looks like a canister. Um, Young children that have seen the painting, and also some other individuals have said that the figures seem to move
Yeah.
um, around the image, but it's very hard to get a lot of information about that. Apart from some people say that they believe that the figures change position or they move slightly, and
Uh
you've
huh.
heard this before with
Yeah.
other stuff where it apparently it changes, from one minute, there's an arm a certain way and then it changes and it's moved and
Mm-hmm.
it's must be very strange. I think that's a completely different. You're on a completely different level there if it's able to sort of appear that it's something different than it actually is.
Yeah. Something else that kind of excuse me, that kind of leaps out at me is like when you look at the painting at the top,
Yeah,
there looks like behind the door where all the hands are,
yeah,
looks like the moon
yeah.
at the top. Now when I
Circular.
yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
the moon, but when I first saw it, it looked like maybe it's like a reflection of something,
Mm,
because when outside it looks they're obviously in sunlight, right? If you look at the boy, his shirt is
yeah,
illuminated, the shadows on his face, so it's like
yeah,
sunlight outside, darkness inside, and the moon is in behind the door.
yeah.
It's very
Well,
surreal.
the artist Bill, he painted in later years after this, because people were asking lots of questions.
Uh huh.
He actually did paint a prequel to this picture, and I'm I I've not got a copy of it, but he did actually print a prequel to this picture, and it's literally a picture of himself as a
Yeah,
boy. He is the other side of the door, looking back into the back of the door with himself
looking the
and
other
the
way.
girl in silhouette the other side of the door, and he's in a very dark, overcast place
Mm.
where he's on like the other side. And there's also a second image of this image. It's a different interpretation, which is meant to be him in many years later as an
Uh huh.
older person, which is meant to be the continuation of this image. So he's kind of tagged on a prequel and a continuation of this. Is
Yeah.
a kind of a there's a there's three images that this is part of. It's quite cleverly done, but once again, because this image has got so much spooky internet lore about it, I think
Yeah.
when you look at the other images, it's kind of it gives them weight as well.
Well,
Not that there's anything spooky about those, but they're spooky in themselves.
well, of all the photographs that we've talked, not photographs. I'll take the
Paintings, yeah.
paint of all the paintings that we've talked about on today's show. This one, the hands resist him.
Hmm.
I would put this one up. I would put this one up on the others. I would not. All the other stuff.
No,
I have no desire to put any of the others up. But if I had this or a copy of it or a good copy, I would probably display this one. This one is intriguing to me.
I do find it. It does make me feel a bit uneasy that picture. I think all of them do
Yeah,
in a way.
all of them do. But
I think that if I had a place big enough with well, I have some blank walls, but I think with those kind of paintings, they have to have, a particular kind of decor to put them in, so that they feel
yeah,
at home. I think that putting something like that on your wall is a really, really big statement, as to say
right.
either I want to shock you, look at this picture and be shocked, or I love quirky art, and I love
Well,
art that is makes you
yeah,
think.
I kind of like quirky art. And I have a painting which I'm going to get framed, and I'm going to put it up in the apartment
Yeah.
eventually. And actually, let me just go grab it, and I'll show you what it is. Just give me a second. Go ahead and tell us some more stuff about paintings, Reeves, while I go grab this while I go grab this thing. I'll be right back.
Well, actually, the on the painting side of it, I think that we've got unlike photography, we have pictures. We take a photograph, we put it in a frame, and then we put it on the wall. I think it's a completely different aspect. But with paintings, it's an actual person with a brush or their fingers or whatever, and they're creating the image from themselves. And with photography, a little bit different. So I think that with paintings, it's going to be there's that whole spooky aspect to it, which makes it, because it's a more of a creative process than we do with like photography. Well, drawing as well can, there are drawings out there that have spooky stories attached to them. Once again, you're focusing your energies through a pencil or a pen. But yeah, I think that it definitely is. These
Right.
pictures are definitely in the
So
weird category.
so I'm back, and I have it in a thing here. But
Okay,
look at the back.
it's got a little
Little,
it's a little devil man on
little
it.
devil printed on the back of the. So that gives you some kind of clue as to what's coming. So I'm gonna open it up here, and you can see it's all nicely packaged and stuff.
Yep.
And let me. So I want to be careful because I'm actually I do treasure this because this is a painting that I've always wanted my entire life, ever since I was a little kid, and I first saw this. I've always sorry, my throat. I've got a frog in my throat. I've always wanted this painting, and I find this extremely rare because you can't get this painting anywhere. So let me go full screen, and I'll show you guys. So anyone that knows me or have been watching this channel for any length of time, you know that I'm a big movie fan, especially of gothic horror movies. I picked up this the other day, and I'm a big fan of Hammer films and the like. And there was a movie that came out in 1972 called Dracula A.D. 1972 with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Mm.
And it was the first Dracula movie where Dracula was taken from, and placed into contemporary
Yeah.
society. He was brought into into the future. And there's a scene in the movie where Van Helsing, played by Peter Cushing, is in his library in his house with all his books, all about the occult and all this stuff. And he pulls out this book called Dracula something, and right next to it there's a painting on the wall of Dracula. And this painting, I've always remembered this painting since I was a little kid, and I was like, man, that's a great painting. I really want to get that painting. And about 2 years ago, I did just that. And there it is.
Hmm. Oddly,
And there's the
I
painting.
don't know where I've seen that picture before, but
Well, you've probably seen it in the movie
yeah,
because it's
in the movie, but also in a book somewhere.
well, the only place I've ever seen this is in two films: Dracula A.D. 1972 and The Satanic Rites of Dracula. And this was a painting that was on the wall of Van Helsing's library. And it's a very rare painting, and
You want to get it in a nice big Gothic frame.
yeah, so I'm gonna frame this and put it up on the wall. So when I have visitors, they'll know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm a very disturbed
you're
individual,
Yeah, a maniac.
that I'm out of my mind. But yeah, so that's the painting, and I do love it. I'm looking forward to getting it all nice and framed. Oops, I hit the mic, and putting it up and everything.
Mm.
So I guess we've done all the paintings, Reeves. So let's take a look in the chat.
I'm
in the
looking.
chat room.
I want to. Yeah, plenty of questions in here we
Let's
can
see.
go through.
Let's see what we got.
Um,
Anything leaping out at you?
Yeah, I'm just scanning. I'm quickly scanning. I saw some interesting. Yes, Crying Boy. Yeah, the Crying Boy. It's such a. Everyone knows about that. You ask about haunted paintings, and usually over in England, it's like, yeah, those little boy pictures. They got ghosts in them. Yeah, yeah, they are quite a thing. I'm wondering. You must be. I mean, I'm gonna have to go on eBay now and look, see if I can buy one. I'm
Well,
gonna have to buy one, put it on my wall.
with
Crying
the
Boy.
crying
I'm
boy.
gonna have to go and get one. Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna have to get one.
I wonder
Uh,
what they go for on eBay right now. I mean, because you can't, you can't just go into a store and buy these things, right?
no,
There's got to be
it's
like
vintage now. That's vintage. That is. I mean,
vintage
that's
'70s
vintage.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
the market of that kind of stuff is kind of big on like eBay and stuff. But I think that it's like anything. It has its ups and downs, doesn't it? The Stone Tape. That's a good. Frank Triggs says he watched the Stone Tape in the afternoon. It's great. Those old. I'll tell you one thing.
hmm
If there's something that the BBC did back in the 70s and the late 60s, if there's something that they did so perfectly, was paranormal. They they knew how to make great paranormal plays, and we had so many different paranormal shows that were around back then. And you can go on to
Right.
YouTube, and you can put in like BBC paranormal shows or
Yeah.
paranormal plays or
Some
whatever,
classics.
and you can find there's one, right. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's basically two couples, and they come around to the house, and they're having a dinner party, and something happens, and they look out the window, and everything's vanished, and they're in complete darkness, and then they start hearing sounds, and it's just them in a house, but it's so
Yeah.
scary.
So I've pulled up eBay, and
Yes,
we can take a little look right here.
let's have a look. Haunted paintings.
Let's see. Um, Hang on, let me so I can get this a little bigger. There we go. And I'll zoom in a little bit. If it open up, can't zoom in. So there we go. So this is the Crying Boy. So the Crying Boy by Giovanni Braglione, wall art, top quality
Okay,
canvas,
so that's on
$69.
canvas. Okay.
There's so many Crying Boys. Look at this.
Yeah, there are. There was many of them produced. It was just one. There wasn't was one, and there were girls as well. Apparently, if you put a boy and a girl together on the same wall, they cancel each other out, and you won't get any. Apparently, you won't get any
we won't
weird
get
activity.
any ghost
Apparently,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, because there's
So
a
here's
crying girl as well.
this is the one right here, the Crying Boy, and some pictures. Look, they even show you. Look at this. They show you what it would look like on. There you go. Look at that. Imagine having a house with that thing on the wall. Look at that.
Mm.
There you go. The
Great.
Crying Boy. It looks great, huh?
They're
Look at
still
that.
around. They're still
There it
around.
is.
Yeah,
And
it's still around. There
what was
it's
the other one?
six, seven.
His hands resist.
Yeah, his hands resist him. I just be interested to see if that's on there. But
Nah, nothing.
no. They're kind of one-offs. They're kind of. I mean, the reason that these ones are so prevalent is because back in those days, I mean,
No.
you had the fantasy art, which was like the swans and the fantasy stuff, and then
Yeah.
you had this stuff, and it kind of was everywhere. Everyone had it. It was like the flying ducks or on the wall. Everyone had those three ducks that went up the wall. It was a kind of staple of English homes where you'd have that stuff, and
What
that's
about
and of
the
course
what was the other one we did? The Anguished Man.
Anguished Man.
Let's see if
I
that's.
would,
Oh, there you go.
yeah. Is it on there? Yeah.
This is it's not a painting. It's like a
Re-
like a pin,
Reprint.
like a little
Okay.
thing, like a pin you could put onto your jacket or something, like a badge. There it is.
Would you wear that?
No, I wouldn't. For $6. but no
$6.
no painting. No.
No, but
And
still.
let's take a look. See if the let's try the Dead Mother. Let's see if that one was in there. The Dead Mother painting. No.
Yeah, Frank Triggs brings up another Hammer horror film with a haunted painting, wasn't there? Was it?
Um,
Was it? Remember when they used to have Hammer horror
that's
on a
kind of
Friday?
disturbing. That one. Well, there was. It wasn't a Hammer film. It was an Amicus film. It was called From Beyond the Grave, and it was
That's it. From
the
Beyond the
episode
Grave.
with
That's it.
David Warner was in it, and it's a scene where they have like a séance, and each person in the
Yeah, yeah.
séance tells a story. And one of them was a guy goes to a junk shop and he buys this big
That's right. Yeah.
this big mirror, this
You
big
know, like
gothic
a loft,
mirror,
wasn't
and he
it?
puts the mirror in the house, and at certain the mirror gets all misty, and a face comes in the mirror, and says, I am, but and then the guy comes out of the
Mm.
mirror. But it was, but I don't remember a haunted painting. But there was that one with the haunted mirror. But it wasn't a Hammer film; it was an Amicus film. But it's very common to get the two confused. But yeah, so I guess the Crying Boy you could pick up fairly easily at a reasonable price. I guess $69.
Well, a lot more. It's well, I suppose if you looked at what you bought it back for back then, I mean, you could pick one up at the market basically
Mm-hmm.
for maybe a tenner, less than that, I expect,
Yeah.
at the market. And if you did the inflation calculation for all those years later,
Right.
I think that maybe yeah, $60-$70. What's that 50-60 quid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I expect you're somewhere near the mark that you're paying what you would have paid back then. But yeah, I I don't know. Would I get one? Oh, I don't know. It would certainly be weird if something did happen. I wouldn't be having any
Well, I got look at this one.
fried chips.
So yeah, no, yeah, don't get the chip pan going. I typed in haunted paintings,
Okay.
and there's a couple. This one looks pretty good. The Nun from The Conjuring. That's nice. Would you put that up, Reeves? Would you have that up in the house?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit superstitious, I suppose, but I don't know.
It's not. It's got to be aesthetically pleasing. All these are apparently
Yeah.
haunted. Ooh, that's cool. I like that one. Look at this one of Vincent Price. Oh, I would totally get that. Look at that. That's awesome. I love that. That's very cool. I do like that one. $120. I do like that. What else is good? This one
I
looks
think
this
that,
one looks pretty cool too. I like this one. That's kind of creepy and cool. I like that. That'd be nice for the bathroom. What do you think, Reeves?
Well, whatever tickles your fancy, Gareth. Whatever tickles your fancy. Do you know what I mean?
While you're in there doing your business, you look up and you see that and you see this. I mean, that's
Yeah.
That's
Whatever tickles your fancy.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long shot from having Starsky and Hutch on your bedroom wall. Do you know what I mean?
Look at this one.
But
Who knew
know,
that there were so many great paintings on
yeah, there are. I
look at
mean, there's
this.
some great artists around, and I think that
I wonder if it comes
when
in
we
the
go back
frame
to
too.
well,
Look at that.
yeah, going back to interpret. What's the one? Yeah, going back to in pictures and how we interpret them. I think that any picture can have if it's got a story behind it. We create the story if even if we don't know if there's any background to it.
That's a nice one, Reeves. No, that's a nice one. Have that right above your bed.
Lovely.
Yeah, look at
That
that.
would be
That's a beauty.
very
Yeah.
nice.
Isn't that a nice one? Have that
Yeah.
in the bedroom. Yeah, there's some. Who knew? I had no idea there were so many cool paintings on.
But then you could go on to eBay and just
on
Google
eBay.
"ghost in a box."
Oh, dude, look at this. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. That's great. Why is this all? Why they got all things stuck on him? Like, and he has like a real chain. What is this? I thought it was a painting. It's not a painting. Oh, it's like a 3D thing. Look at that. It's like it comes off the thing.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not so good. I don't like that 3D nonsense. I thought it was just a regular painting. But oh my god. Oh my god.
That's creepy.
What the hell is? Look at this. How about that? Would you put that up in the house?
Could you imagine getting up at night to go to the bathroom and all the lights are off and that's in silhouette
and that's
actually coming off the wall?
I mean, look at this, man. Look at that thing. Do you know what these paintings kind of remind me of?
These are weird.
These things. Do you know what these remind me
Yeah.
of? It reminds me of the artwork of Shrouded Hand.
Oh yeah.
Because he does some freaky paintings too. Shrouded Hand here. He does some paintings like that. But man, who knew?
Yeah, these are getting into the realms of a little spooky.
Yeah. Oh, dude, look at this. This one would be a good one in the bedroom. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, lovely.
That's a great one. Well, I don't know, man. I had no clue that there was so many amazing paintings on YouTube on eBay.
There's loads, yeah.
And
there's some really
I'm
interesting stuff.
slowly but surely getting my apartment spick and span and decorating. In fact, this afternoon I'm going to be building some bookcases. As I see all these paintings, I'm like, I could, this would be great in the apartment to put up on the wall and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll dig around and see if I can find a good one. Something that I can put next to the count.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need pictures on the wall.
So
Yeah,
they
you need
count.
pictures on the wall.
Yeah, but there's some
Definitely.
some creepy ones. Some really good ones in here. Look at that. Amazing. All right then, Reeves. Let's do a quick go through some of the chat. If anyone has any questions they want to ask myself or Reeves or both of us, now is the time to go ahead and start typing away. We'll go through a few questions and we'll touch on a few things in the chat room, and then we'll call it a night or a day or wherever you are. Let's see if anything leaping out at me. Jackie Green Cats and Things says, Gareth, we already knew you were crazy. Well, very good. Okay, yes. And Frank Tigg says, I used to go next door every Friday night to watch the late night horror films. Good memories. Yeah, those were good memories in the early 80s. The horror double bill that they used to do on BBC Two. I used to love that too. I used to stay over my grandmother's house as a kid, and because she would let me stay up late and watch them. And I always remember I'd be able to watch the first one from beginning to end, and then the next one, I'd usually fall asleep because it was so late, and I'd be upset like because it would usually show like a Universal horror first, and then a Hammer film or an Amicus film afterwards. But the Hammer one was the one that you always wanted to see. But it was so late, you'd struggle to stay awake to watch it. Well, I don't see any questions. You see any questions or anything in there, Reeves?
Just having a quick look. We had a mention of Skinwalker Ranch, but it's
okay. A little bit off topic, but
a little bit off topic. But it's definitely a one that I think we
might be a future show. Might be a future show
Yeah.
On that one.
We could possibly come and sort of put something together,
Yeah.
because there are other places around the world that are very similar to Skinwalker, and also it ties in with the Missing 411,
Right.
Right. And people who vanish, and there's and also the Bigfoot phenomenon,
Right.
where is Bigfoot paranormal, and people that have encountered hairy men in the woods that seem to sort of vanish or appear. So there's a massive topic there that we could sort of touch on and put something together as a live show, or
Yeah, for
at some
sure.
point.
Yeah, future stuff. Frank says, what was that film about the dismembered hand crawling about the house? Well, there's two. One of them was Dr. Terror's House of Horror, and that was an anthology movie with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing and the like. And Christopher Lee's story was of the hand that comes after him to kill him. And then there was another movie with Michael Caine called The Hand that came out in the early 80s where Michael Caine was an artist. And he has an accident and he loses his hand, so he can't paint anymore, but the hand comes back. So there's two movies. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, Frank. Maybe both. I don't know. But there was two movies that I'm aware of with the disembodied hand. I always liked the way it crawled. It would crawl like this across stuff. Yeah, there you go. The hand. Good stuff. All right, let's start wrapping it up then. I would like to ask everyone, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit the subscribe button and subscribe, and hit the thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button, smash the thumbs up, and maybe share this video. Let like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We've had a great show today, some great topics, a wonderful presentation by Reeves on some incredibly disturbing, disturbing
Yes, that's the way
photographs.
it should be.
should be. And thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll be back very soon with some more Paratalk. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Sweet dreams.